welcome to Polish with Ray. I'm Rachel and today I'm going to be sharing with you what I wore on my nails in October. Before we get started, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, and if you're not already subscribed, make sure you do so you don't miss out on future videos. So October feels like months ago and just yesterday, all at the same time. It was a pretty busy month for me, as it seems like every month has been lately, so I didn't get around to quite as many manicures as I would have liked, but it's still a decent amount. Altogether, I got 17 polishes on my nails. That did include a few pedicures. It included a few combos as well. We're gonna take a look at the polishes, the bottle shots. I'm gonna show you swatch photos of everything that I put on my nails during spooky season. And if you've not seen one of these videos from me before, I have it separated into parts. So first we'll take a look at all of the polishes that I wore as pedicures. I'll give you my thoughts on those. And then we look at all the manicures I wore in October. First, the ones I liked okay. Then the ones I really didn't like and might de-stash, and then at the end, the ones that I absolutely loved. So the first pedicure that I wore in October is from OPI. It's called Abstract After Dark. This one is a very, very, very warm-toned, deep, super dark purple jelly base with shifting shimmer that's so big it almost looks like microflakes, and it shifts blue to purple to pink to gold. This is not my typical polish that I would purchase or my typical pedicure polish. You know, if you've watched my channel before, I usually stick to creams as pedicures, but I've been feeling, you know, like changing it up lately. So I've been trying to wear more shimmers and metallics and stuff like that as pedicures, and so far I've really enjoyed it. But this isn't the typical polish I would reach for ever as a manicure or a pedicure. Definitely not my traditional pedicure shade or finish. So I was not expecting to love this one. However, I was pleasantly surprised. I really enjoyed it. The deep base almost made it feel like a black pedi, which I do really like super dark pedis. And the shimmer came through okay as a pedicure. Most of the time what I saw was a pretty blue sheen. It didn't look like the same shifty shimmer that you're seeing in the bottle. I didn't see those shifts to pink and gold once they were on my nails. I'm curious though, if I wore it as a manicure, if I would get more of that shift. If you've worn this one, let me know how much of it you actually see. But that aside, the base color was beautiful as a pedicure. I love the soft sheen, and the formula was pretty good. I think I got it opaque in 2 to 3 coats. So I will absolutely be wearing OPI Abstract After Dark as a pedicure again in the future, and I can't wait to wear it as a manicure too. And then the other pedicure that I wore in October is this mini bottle. It looks so ridiculously tiny. But it's one from the Orly Kelly Marissa collab that they did for Halloween this year from that advent calendar. The shade is called Haunted Symphony. So this one has a vibrant, grapey, neon purple base with shimmer that shifts green to pink to gold. And it's got the same base color as Synthetic Symphony from Orly, if you're familiar with that. So this is a super cute polish. I knew from swatching it in that live stream that I would enjoy the base color. Again, it's kind of a different kind of polish than what I usually wear as a pedicure. I don't usually wear shimmers. I don't usually wear bright purple. As a manicure, yes. As a pedicure, no. So I was not expecting to like this one, and I didn't love it as a pedicure. Something about the shimmer in here, it just felt kind of frosty and chilly, and I just didn't like this as a pedi. I do think I would really like it as a manicure. I wish they would release it as a full-size bottle, because honestly, maybe I was a little bit off-put by the application process. Because this is a mini bottle, it comes with a super skinny, teeny tiny brush, and that was a little bit irritating to work with. I didn't get the smoothest application. I think with the regular Orly brush, even when it's not cut to perfection, I would really have enjoyed applying this more, and the end result would have looked a little bit better. All right, on to manicures now, and we're gonna take a look at the polishes that I liked okay first. The first shade comes from KB Shimmer, and it is called Slay Cozy. Slay Cozy looks like a red leaning orange linear holographic, but on my nails it did pull a little bit more corally or terracotta, probably terracotta, not corally, than I was expecting. So like I said, when I put this on, I was ready for a burnt pumpkin orange. That's what it looks like on the bottle, in the bottle. But once I got it on my nails, once I saw it against my skin tone, it felt very terracotta. I was not prepared for that. I thought it would lean maybe more red than orange once I got it on my nails, but it looked almost like a little bit neutrally once it was on. I didn't hate it. I actually really liked the color, but it just wasn't at all what I was expecting. The linear hollow pigment was fabulous. This glowed in every lighting. I could see the flame even in regular indoor office lighting. KB Shimmer makes some beautiful holographics. And the pigmentation was fabulous too. It was definitely opaque in 2 coats. It was nearly a 1-coater. So I wish I would have put this on years ago when I purchased it. It's one that was hanging out on many seasonal racks for years, and I finally got it on my nails and was pleasantly surprised that I did like it. And then the second manicure that I wore in October that I just liked okay was a combination. As a base, I wore Orly's Just Bitten. This one is a blood red, that's where the name comes from, cream, kind of curly polish. And then I topped it with a shade from 90 Lacquer called B+ or B positive. This one also has a super lightly tinted red jelly base, red holographic glitters that are square and hex and micro, and then some black shreds. So I don't know what I was expecting when I purchased 90 B positive. I think I just heard a lot of people hype it up and talk about how much they love it, especially some call me Coco. She is who I immediately think of when I think of this polish. I was not expecting it to be so lightly tinted. Once I swatched it on a swatch wheel, I was a little bit surprised that it's essentially a topper, or you could sponge it on as a full coverage glitter bomb. I really knew I would not like the look of this on its own. It would show some visible nail line. My staining would probably show through, so I knew I had to layer it over something else if I wanted to wear it. I ended up pairing it with Orly Just Bitten because the base colors are kind of close, and the base of Just Bitten is just a little bit darker than the glitters in the 90, which I thought would help them pop a little bit more. So I ended up doing 1 coat of the Orly, 1 coat of the 90, and it was a fine combination. I do wish I would have gone on for 2 coats of the Orly and 1 coat of the 90. I think it would have just deepened that base a little bit more and added more contrast. Because of that, I didn't absolutely love this manicure. It was pretty and both polishes were great. I'd worn the Orly before, but the B+ 90 was an untried for me. I would be willing to pair these again in the future, but just would add a 2nd coat of the Orly next time. And in October, there was only 1 polish that I was not crazy about. I didn't really like it, and I think I'm gonna destash. That one came from Lemming Lacquer, and it's called Hecate. So Hecate or Hecate is, and I did look it up because I was curious how to say it. It is like a brick red base. It's got lots of beautiful shimmer that shifts red to copper to gold to green. Pretty much every shifting shimmer I wore in the fall season has that same shift. I love it. And a ton of holographic pigment. I had high hopes for this. I can't even really tell you why I didn't like it. It just wasn't super easy to apply. My bottle, and I don't know that this is the bottle or the brush that Lemming Lacquer uses now, had a square kind of round brush, and I wasn't liking it. I got it all over my cuticles. It was hard to remove because it's a red, and it just wasn't the most even application wise. I needed 3 coats to build it up, and I'm used to this kind of finish needing 2 coats, maybe an optional 3rd coat, but this one had to have that 3rd coat. And then I still had a little bit of patchiness, I think. The shifts were gorgeous. The base color was really pretty. It was just the application. And honestly, I think I have other things similar enough to this in my collection to part with this one. So I will be destashing it eventually. Then everything else I wore in October was a major hit. I loved them all, so let's take a look at those. There are a lot. First, let's look at Saki Cosmetics number 13. This one has a really brown, caramelly, orangey base with glowing flakes that shift copper to gold to green. I loved this polish. The base color is so super unique. It really teeters the line between being brown or caramel and being orange. Depending on your skin tone and the lighting in which you are in, I think that base color will look different place to place, person to person. I love the flakes in here. They really packed in well, and I felt like it dried down pretty well. I didn't get any dragging with the flakes. And I had a super easy to work with formula and a very nice brush. For some reason, I was super serious about finding great brushes this month. If polishes didn't have a wonderful brush, I just didn't like them. So yeah, overall, this was a fantastic purchase. I'm really glad I grabbed it from this brand. It was one of the first polishes I've tried from Saki Cosmetics, and I'll definitely be buying more in the future. Another love for me was ILNP Diablo. This one has a super vampy, purpley, reddish base, and it is jam-packed with scattered holographic pigment. This was worth the wait. If you saw this in my haul video, you know I've been on the fence about buying this for like 4 years. It's been just sitting in my ILNP cart, and for whatever reason, I've just never, you know, taken the plunge and just grabbed it. And I finally saw it available on a D-stash at a discount and couldn't resist. I should have grabbed it 4 years ago. Y'all, it was fabulous. So rich and vampy, perfect for this time of year. The holographic just glowed in that beautiful, rich, dark jelly base. Very flattering. That's what I meant to say. Very flattering color. I absolutely love this one. This is my favorite finish from ILNP. I have a lot. I still feel like I could get more and be really happy with them. It's not the most unique finish, it's very simple, but they do it so well. So that's ILNP's Diablo. On the very first day of October, I wore this shade from Bluebird Lacquer, or maybe I should say Bluebird Lacquer. This one is called Yes, Hallow-Queen, and it came from their advent calendar last year. This one is a shattered holographic in a gorgeous yellowy chartreuse base. It's got that shattered hollow finish with all of that diamondy, hollow, flaky sparkle, but it also has shimmer that shifts gold to green to blue. This polish was so weird and so icky, and I loved it. It just shined, it gleamed, the formula was perfect, the brush was perfect, it had this gorgeous glow. It was amazing. The shimmer was very shifty and evident. It sparkled in the sun. The hollow in these shattered hollows from Bluebird just catch the light perfectly, and you see rainbows constantly. To me, these shattered hollows look like glitter polishes with the amount of sparkle they have, but with an easy removal. And the base color was just so stinking unique. I don't usually gravitate, as you'll see, towards brights for Halloween. I'm really more of a dark, vampy kind of girl. Not all the time, but in October. But I just couldn't resist getting this out, and it was awesome. I loved the shade. You know what I would love to see Lucy do, and I don't even know if she could, because I honestly don't know if she has the recipes written down for her advents. But I would love to see her just release a bunch of previously released advent shades, because I think there are so many that people would love to grab individually, myself included. I would buy a backup of this one and the orange from last year's Halloween advent calendar. Both just beautiful. And while we're on the topic of Bluebird Lacquer, I have another one that I wore in October. This one's called Rainstorming Session, and it has a black base and a red magnetic pigment, shattered holographic, and blue metallic flakes. I purchased this from PPU, and I wasn't super sold on if I should grab it or not. It is a magnetic. I don't usually have the patience or the time, or make the time, to wear magnetic polishes, but I just had a feeling if I didn't grab this, I would regret it. It would be a Lemming. So I got it, and I wore it, and I loved it. The red magnetic line just pulled so easily. Some magnetics, you know, you need to work with a little bit. This one was very easy to work with, and it contrasted beautifully against the black base. The blue flakes stood out really well. The holographic in there just gave me that diamondy feel. This one was perfectly rich and vampy and interesting. It was well worth the time for a magnetic shade. I love it so much, I am considering adding it to my winter rack. I already have my winter rack pulled out because I am type A and I get excited about those things. But I should not add this because my winter rack box, my bucket or whatever, my basket, that's what it's called, is overflowing. I do not need to add anything else, but like I really want to wear this again soon. It's so pretty. I also wore another black. There were quite a few blacks, maybe like 4. That's a lot of black for me. I wore another black in October. It is Chroma Axite. Gosh, this one was fabulous. It has a squishy jelly black base, holographic flakes that kind of look like diamondy sparkles, and then it's got a gold shimmer. Chroma does Crowleys so well. There's just something about them. They apply very evenly and easily. They dry down so shiny. Like, does that matter? Not a whole lot because I'm going to add top coat anyway. But when they dry down super shiny and then you add top coat, it just feels like almost like a jello like finish. Like, I feel like I could just, you know, press into the polish because it looks so shiny and squishy and juicy. That's a ridiculous thing to want, but I want it, and this met that mark. Really beautiful buildable formula. Took 3 coats to get fully opaque. The flakes were so glowy and gorgeous. I didn't see a whole lot of the gold shimmer on my nails, but I didn't care. It felt vampy, it felt edgy, it was so fun. I loved this polish. This is one that the maker, Pam, said is her favorite polish that she's created, and I totally understand why. It gave me baddie vibes all the way. I loved it. 6 more. This one is Coloristic Carol Slappy's Tie. This one is a rich, dark, vampy red linear holographic polish. I've had this on many a rack as well. I finally got around to wearing it. It did stain my nails. It was worth it. This one was pretty much 1 coat coverage, but 2 coats did deepen up that color. It was so beautiful. The holographic was interesting too because it didn't necessarily look holographic. It kind of just looked like super sparkly red pigment. Once I was in the sun, I could see some of that hollow flare, but most of the time I just saw sparkles and I really enjoyed it. In indoor lighting too, it didn't look dusty. Sometimes linear holographics and indoor lighting, it can give like a little bit of a gray cast or a muted quality to it. I didn't feel like that was the case with this one. It still looked rich and bold and beautiful indoors, and then once you got it into bright lighting, you just got a lot of sparkle. So I should have worn this a long time ago, but it did stain my nails. It will stain your nails. I wore 2 coats of a milky base coat. I still got staining. Someone on Instagram said that they wore this and it stained their nails for months. Months. Mine was not that bad, but my nails I don't think are super porous, so use it with caution, but it's gorgeous, and in my opinion, well worth the staining. I also wore Bee's Knees Lacquer, the Black Heretic. This one is another magnetic, I know, look at me go, and it has a black base, it has a linear holographic, it has scattered holographic flakes, and then it has a magnetic pigment that shifts purple to gold to green. Most of the time when this was magnetized, I saw purple, pretty much only purple. This is another one, it's been on several racks. I just now got around to it, and I was feeling adventurous when I put this on, so I decided to try the velvet effect with the magnetic pigment. I loved it, and it was gorgeous, and I don't think I did a very good job magnetizing it with that method. I'm just not that familiar with it. I need more practice. But it still came out so pretty, and I'm a little disappointed in my pictures because I feel like that 3D effect that's created by the velvet method doesn't come through in photos very well. You really need to see it in video to see that shift from the base color to the magnetic finish. So I was sad that the beauty of this polish didn't come through, but it didn't take away my love for it. It looked amazing. Very easy to magnetize. Love the hollow flakes and just love the contrast between the purple base or the black base and the purple pigment. This one was amazing. I wore another Bee's Knees Lacquer that I loved this month. This was Bee's Knees Lacquer. It is My Punishment. This one is a super dark vampy grapey purple base with shimmer that shifts red to copper to gold to green. Again, I love that shift this time of year, and holographic flakes, lots of them. I just had to get as many of these Lion with a Thorn in its Paw finishes from Bee's Knees Lacquer on my nails this season, and I think I wore almost all of the ones that I had on my rack. This one I loved just like all of them. It's a wonderful finish. The contrast between the purple and the shifting shimmer was very evident. It was very glowy. The flakes stood out well in that purple base. I did have some bleeding of the base color because this is a purple and they tend to do that. I didn't fight it. I didn't add a water-based top coat or anything like that. I just kind of said it is what it is, and I still loved it. It was glorious. And that's coming from someone who doesn't really like purple polishes all that much, so yeah. It was a beautiful shade. Two more. This next one's from Cuticula, and it's called If the Crown Fits. This one was in collaboration with a painted queen on Instagram. This one has a black jelly base, and it is loaded with like set shift blue to green to copper to gold. I feel like I even see a little bit of purple in there. This polish was fabulous. It is what glowy, flaky, vampy dreams are made out of. It's just... Cuticula knows how to do a flaky polish. And this one again was just loaded with them, and I didn't get any dragging. It was so even and easy to apply. I did need 3 coats to get full opacity as I do with most Cuticula flaky polishes, but it was well worth the build up because the finished product, the finished result was stunning. Got a lot of compliments while wearing this one, and just something about the green with the black, it felt very Halloween and super duper spooky. And the last mani I wore in October was another combination. This one combined Orly's Alysian Fields. That is a brown grungy green cream. And then I topped it with a shade from Penelope called Powerful Lilly, the topper version. This one is a topper with a clear base, of course, holographic flakes, and black micro flakes. So I wanted to wear Alysian Fields. I tested a bunch of toppers over it because honestly I couldn't decide what to pair it with, and I knew I didn't want to wear it on its own. I thought something with black flakes would be great because, of course, Alysian Fields has a more grungy, edgy vibe. But I didn't want just black flakes alone. I wanted some sparkle, and the Powerful Lilly topper from Penelope, I cannot talk today. The Powerful Lilly topper from Penelope totally did the trick. I had the sparkle, I had the edginess from the black flakes, the grunginess from the green Alysian Fields cream. This one was a match made in heaven. It just sparkled and it felt gross all at the same time. There's no other time I'd want that on my nails except for October. Yeah, the Orly though had a great formula. I would say if you feel like our tastes and polish are similar and you usually lean toward more pretty, typically pretty colors, that's what I usually like are bright pinks, bright purples, bright blue, things with sparkle and happy, pretty colors. Sometimes I like stuff that is dusty, but I am not a prugly polish lover most of the time. But even if you feel the same way in your polish taste, I think Alysian Fields would be worth grabbing. It's a beautiful color. I will say it didn't feel quite as prugly on me as I was expecting. Like when I've seen other swatchers wear this, like of course the first person who comes to mind is Hillary from Mediocre Manis. When I think of her wearing it, like because our skin tones are so different, she had a lot of contrast between her skin tone and the base color of Alysian Fields. My skin tone is not the same as Alysian Fields, but it is considerably deeper than Hillary's. And because of that, it almost had like a neutrally feel. Like it felt grungy, but it didn't feel nearly as grungy on me as it did when I look at it on people who have a lighter skin tone. So it was almost like a prugly neutral. It was fun. I liked it. And this combination, like I said, stellar, so beautiful. So those are all the polishes that I wore in October. Let me know down in the comments which of these you have in your collection. I'll link any of them that are available down in the description box too. I hope you all are having a wonderful holiday season. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!